This is Coffee with God, and I am Father Jose. Let us begin this day with the Word of God and a short reflection.
A reading from the Holy Gospel according to St. Luke, chapter 9, verses 28 to 36. About 8 days after saying this, he climbed the mountain to pray, taking Peter, John, and James along. While he was in prayer, the appearance of his face changed and his clothes became blinding white. At once, 2 men were there talking with him. They turned out to be Moses and Elijah. What a glorious appearance they made! They talked over his exodus, the one Jesus was about to complete in Jerusalem. Meanwhile, Peter and those with him were slumbered over in sleep. When they came to, rubbing their eyes, they saw Jesus in his glory and the 2 men standing with him. When Moses and Elijah had left, Peter said to Jesus, "Master, this is a great moment. Let's build 3 memorials, one for you, one for Moses, and one for Elijah." He blurted this out without thinking. While he was bubbling on this, a light radiant cloud enveloped them, and they found themselves buried in the cloud. They became deeply aware of God. Then there was a voice out of the cloud, "This is my Son, the chosen. Listen to him." When the sound of the voice died away, they saw Jesus there alone. They were speechless, and they continued speechless, said not one thing to anyone during those days of what they had seen.
Reflections on the Gospel according to St. Luke, chapter 9, verses 28 to 36. This passage is sometimes interpreted as a brief preview of the experience of paradise that Jesus granted to his friends to prepare them to endure the ordeal of his passion and death. At first glance, the passage appears to be a chronicle of facts, but at a closer look, it reveals as a text of theology described in biblical language. Evangelists Matthew and Mark have also reported this event of transfiguration of Jesus, but Evangelist Luke alone specifies the reason why Jesus goes up the mountain. He goes to pray. During prayer, the aspect of his face changes. Luke does not speak of transfiguration, but of a change of the aspect of the face of Jesus. This splendor is the sign of the glory that wraps one who is united to God. The face of Moses became brilliant when he entered into a dialogue with the Lord. Every encounter with God leaves some visible traces on the face of the person. After a good confession or a well-participated Mass, we return to our houses more joyful, more serene, smiling, and willing to be tolerant, understanding, and generous. After spending time before the Blessed Sacrament, do we not experience our faces more relaxed and seem to emit light? During this spiritual experience, 2 characters appear, Moses and Elijah. They are symbols of the law and the prophets. They represent all the Old Testament. And Jesus represents the New Testament. Without Jesus, the Old Testament is incomprehensible. And without the Old Testament, Jesus remains a mystery. That's why on Easter Day, Jesus himself would explain the text of the Old Testament to the disciples traveling to Emmaus. Then starting with Moses and going through the prophets, he explained to them everything in the scriptures concerning himself. We read in the Gospel of Luke. The three disciples, Peter, James, and John, understand nothing of what was happening. They were sleepy. Let us take note of a particular. In moments of recalling the passion and death of Jesus, these three disciples are always taken by sleep. In the Garden of Olives, we see them sleep again. When Jesus performed miracles, when the crowd applauded him, the apostles were all awake. But when he speaks about the sacrifice of life, to occupy the last place, and to become servants, they do not like to understand. Slowly they close their eyes and start to sleep, to continue to dream of applauses and triumphs. The disciples came down from the mountain telling no one of anything they had seen. They could not speak because the exodus of Jesus was not yet fulfilled. We today, coming out of our churches, instead can announce to all what our faith made us discover. Whoever gives life for love enters into the glory of God.